My hair looks stupid.
Hello and welcome to the Opposite of Always live show. Opposite of Always was our Booksplosion book of the month for the month of July. Feels weird because we're in August. And this book is about this boy named Jack who ends up meeting this girl named Kate at a party, and they hit it off. And then at some point down the line, she dies and he gets sent back in time to kind of fix the situation a little bit. That's all I'm going to say, because I feel like that alone is already really spoilery. But yeah, that was our book.
Not really spoilery. It's the premise of the book. It's the first line of the book.
That's true. So we're going to be discussing this today, but before we get into that, we have a few announcements. Our Booksplosion book of the month for the month of August is WARCROSS. You guys want to show the book? I don't have it yet, but we're really excited to read this. Does one of you want to give like a rundown of what WARCROSS is?
Yeah, I've already read it and loved it and have a book talk about it, but it's been a while and I really want to read the second one with a reread of this one. So it is about this, it's in a world like in the near future, and there's this game WARCROSS, and it's like a virtual reality game that everyone loves, and they have like a giant competition every year, and everyone watches this competition, and I can't remember. There's a prize of money, I think. Okay, well, the lead character hacks into it, and then the person who invented WARCROSS is like, whoa, she hacked into my game, I want to hire her. And he brings her out. She's like at this point where she's getting evicted and stuff, so she like needs the money, and she ends up on a WARCROSS team during these championships, and we get to like really dive into this world, and there's like suspicious characters, and it's so fun, and I love everything in this WARCROSS world, like, because we go into the game with them, you know, and we're playing all these levels, and each team has like an architect and a runner and a this and a that. It's kind of like a giant game of capture the flag, and everyone works together. So we get to go know her team as we go, and we get to know like the nemesis teams, and then there's this like mysterious hacker person named Zero that they're trying to figure out. And there's a romance kind of blooming between her and the guy who invented WARCROSS. And it just leaves off on a really like, oh, I need to read the next book place. And I wish I had the second book when I read it the first time.
Nice. This will be my first time reading it. What about you, Kat?
Yeah, first time reading it as well, because I like marathoning my series. So I was like, anthology, I can wait for both books to be out. And then I just didn't get to it really quick, but now they're both out and I can binge read them both.
Yeah.
So the live show date that we have set for WARCROSS is September 5th. That could change, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen on that day. So September 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. And then we're bringing back Dear Booksplosion. We've been on a bit of a hiatus with that, but we're bringing it back this week. It's going to be on the 12th at 7 p.m., I think, again.
Eastern?
Yeah, Eastern. Yeah. So that's just like our monthly little live show where we just hang out and talk about random topics. I'm not sure what our topic is.
Book to movie or book to TV, book adaptations that are.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be a fun one, like new ones that are coming and stuff.
So you don't have to like read a book to join us for that. It's just a fun time to chat and hang out.
Yeah.
But anyway, today we're talking about Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. Who wants to kick us off with their thoughts on the book?
I can kick us off.
Go ahead, Christine.
I was really excited to read this. It's a debut novel, and it is, right? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That came out last year that I really wanted to read last year, and I never got around to it, but I had it with me like on my book tour, and I was like, I'm going to read this. I read 10 pages of one book, so it didn't happen. But it's about, it's not a spoiler to talk about the time loop, right? It was a spoiler.
It's right on the back. It's about a book. This is a book about two teens who fall in love over cereal, about a boy stuck in a time loop and the moment of life worth living.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of themes in it that I really love. Like, you know, time loops in general are fascinating, and how a character's life and the things that the decisions they make and the choices they make ripple out and change. It's fascinating to watch that and see the lessons that they learn about life during those circumstances, like those are just, I love time travel-y stuff. This is that. This was definitely like on the sadder scale, but I think it had a really nice balance of both like happy, warm, fun moments and the sadder moments. Like it wasn't a downer. It kind of came to like a content place by the end of it. Like I like the theme of trying and, doing everything you can. And like the last line of the book is kind of sums that up really well. Or maybe it's not the last line of the book. There's a couple, like 3 chapters at the end. They're like the end, almost the end. This is actually the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun reading it and like trying to predict what was going to happen. And I really loved Kate. I loved Franny. I loved his parents. I feel like all the characters, I had a really good sense of all of them. I didn't like Jillian as much, and I think it's just because I was shipping him with Kate and not Jillian.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel?
I really enjoyed this book. Like, it's probably one of my favorites of the year so far.
Nice.
And I was really pleasantly surprised because knowing the concept of he's stuck in a time loop and trying to save her in each time, I was like, this might be kind of a downer. But this book was so fun and so funny. Like, I loved the voice so much. I thought the main character, Jack, just had such a great voice and sense of humor. Like, I was cracking up out loud at parts. And it was such a fun and easy read because of that. Like, aside from the story and the characters, which I also really enjoyed, just the voice and the writing was just so engaging and great. And I just had such a good time reading this.
I feel like I have nothing to add because I agree with both of you. I really loved the narration style. I feel like I related to Jack a lot in how he like overthinks every situation. Like, hello, that's my life. I overthink everything. And I really liked that it wasn't so, I was afraid it was going to be so focused on the romance, but really like we have so many other things going on, like with Jack and his friends, and how like the time loop was kind of affecting his relationship with his friends. Like, because he would focus on Kate in certain time loops and like it would drive a wedge between their relationship. And I don't know, I just really liked that aspect. And I liked seeing the things with Franny and his family, like all the complications that were going on there with like his dad and stuff like that. So yeah, I really liked it. I feel like it kind of, like Christine said, it had like a really nice balance of like some sad things, but also like some lighthearted stuff too. So overall, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with what Pat said, also with like the voice. It was just, he had a really fun way of describing things too. And a lot of it, like, I forget the one line that really sticks out. Is like the Franny is mad at Jack movie is playing 24/7 or something. And I was just like, what a great line. Like, and there's a lot like that. That was really fun. Oh,
Weird. Let's maybe get into spoilers now so we can talk more about spoilers.
Yeah.
Get into spoilers now.
Yeah, spoiler time.
I mean, this isn't that big of a spoiler, but one section that I really loved that was cracking me up was when he was talking about how he was wearing the same jeans every day to like show his pain. And that wasn't good enough, so I started wearing the same shirt every day.
and then that one girl had that line. She was like,
so many great funny moments, and I also really, really loved all the banter between like Jack and Kate in particular, but also all the friends in general. Like Jesse was talking about, like the friendships and family relationships were also great, and like all the dynamics were so wonderful. It was so enjoyable to read and like learn about and see them in different versions of the different time loops. It was just it was a good time.
Yeah. I really love the part too. Like, I think it's in the second loop when his friends are calling him out about like how like, why are you always with Kate? And it's like everything revolves around Kate. And he kind of says like, I've always wanted like what you and mom have and what you and Franny have, and like, why can't I also have that? Like, why is it so wrong? And it was just like so cute because he's like such a romantic in that way. And obviously there's so much more to it because he knows that like at the end of this loop, like she's going to die if he doesn't do something about it. He wants to spend all the time he can with her. And obviously he doesn't say that, but I'm like, can you say something about that? You're not doing this on purpose. Like, it feels like you only have this time. Okay, can we talk about, oh, sorry, you would lead the discussion.
Well, I did also wanted to say, or ask, did you guys like know going in that it was going to be like constant going back through this same like time loop situation? Like, I didn't realize it was going to be a time loop. Like, I just thought we were going to have like one moment where he's like sent back in time and like has to figure out how to do it, like fix things. Or did you like expect it to be like constantly going back to the same situation?
I saw this cover and I knew we were going around 4 times.
Okay.
But we went around more times.
Oh, we only saw 4 times.
Kind of.
Yeah. The 4th time was that last time when he was like, he didn't interact with her.
Well, no, but then there was that part at the end where he's like, I've actually been through dozens of times.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because we saw the 4 most important conglomerates.
Yeah. But that was one thing. See, I figured out it was a time loop pretty early on, because just from that opening, you know, like before we jump into like the actually where we meet Kate and they have like their real beginning, it opens with him saying like, oh, she dies again for the 3rd time, and then he like goes back in time again. So I was kind of like prepared for like, oh, we're going to be doing this at least 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, the beginning actually led me to think that there's going to be more than there actually was, because I was like, oh man. I thought he had control of it at that time. It kind of felt like he doesn't. Well,
is there anything you would have done differently than Jack in going through the time loops?
I wouldn't have, like, I hate when characters do this, when they're like, oh, I can make it. I can go this far and like make it back for this other event. And like Franny had been like, can you be there for my dad to be there for my dad's dinner? And he was like, if I leave last period, I can go an hour and a half away, meet Kate, hear what's important, and come home. And he could have asked her to reschedule, and he didn't. And then of course he got like a flat tire and everything's up. What about you guys?
I don't know.
I will say that. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I hated that time loop where he like went for Jillian or whatever.
Oh my god, me too.
I
mean, I can understand, like, if he's doing this enough times, he's going to be curious, like, what would have happened if I did this?
Yeah, like it made sense too, and it was at that point in the book where you get like 75-80% of the way through, and you know that things are going to be bad for a little while.
Yeah, like the darkest of the soul is coming.
Yeah. So like I knew what was going to happen, and I could. It was understandable because like he feels defeated. He's like, I keep doing this. Like maybe I'll try it this way. Maybe I'll do this. But I did not like that loop because everything was sad and bad, and I didn't like it. But in general, I thought he had a really good plan for his time looping. Like when he started gambling and like trying to get her the treatment, I was like, you're going about this pretty well. Like obviously he learned how to do it better as time went on and started like asking permission from Franny to like, hey, can I order that in on something instead of just going behind his back. But like in general, I thought he kept a pretty chill head about things and like handled the situation pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah. No, I agree. He made I think the changes he made were like every time were like legitimate, logically. Like you have to be like, okay, well, if he kept going around this stupid loop, like I would never want to be stuck in a 4-month loop like this. It would be like torture watching yourself fail over and over again. And like we're led to believe he never gets out. Like they're still in this loop. So, Jesse, did you want to say anything on this before I change the topic?
No, touch on it. Go for it.
When he fell down the stairs and died, I was like, what the actual F just happened? And so basically, like, they both are dead. Do you think they're both dead and they're reliving these 4 months because they were like the most significant 4 months of their life? And do you think the names Jack and Kate are a reference back to Lost? And that's essentially what happens in Lost. And like the lesson in loss is that like when you die, you go back to the most significant time of your life and relive it until you're ready to move on.
I don't have any firm like theories, any like solid like I think this is what happened. I'm still in the sort of ambiguous questioning stage where I'm like, what happened? Like, did he break the time loop that one time? But like even if he did, when he had like the whole thing where he like locked her in the hospital and he like saved her life on that night, but like
I think she still died.
it was ambiguous though, so I'm like, but even if he breaks her out of that loop that time, like she's still sick, and like if something happens again, is he going to reset again? Like I don't know, it just felt ambiguous.
To me, it felt like every time they both die on their days where they die.
I could see that too. I feel like it's up for theorizing, and I kind of like that because like,
it's on purpose. Like he wants us to do it like that. Yeah.
Ooh. Interesting.
But I'm firm on my theory that I think they've both been dead, and like this is like their significant 4 months, and his significant 4 months. We don't know what hers is,
Right.
But his, and he'll relive it until he feels ready to move on.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that too.
I mean, it's kind of sad because like they're
It
both dead, but.
If you were stuck in a time loop, what moment in your life would you be okay with reliving over and over again?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Does anybody else feel like they're in a time loop currently? Because
I was gonna say not 2020.
Not 2020, probably like my senior year of college. That was a fun time.
I would like to go back to high school and do things differently.
would you like to go back to high school?
maybe like my senior year, or maybe right after high school.
Yeah.
Just I don't even have specifics of what I do differently. I just feel like I could do it better if I tried again.
Again, but better. I had to be the one to say it.
I was waiting. But yeah, I think like college is a fun time. Not any other year, but the senior year. But senior year, I like rooming with my best friends. It was so fun.
I feel like mine would be like last year when I went to Japan.
That's a cool time.
I could like, just like go back to Japan, but also come back home and like go to New York and see you guys. Like, how long is this moment?
Like, 4 months.
4 months. Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
4 months is like a perfect study abroad time too. It's a semester.
Right. There you go. Did you ever feel like the book was too repetitive due to the time loop at all?
No. I feel like that's the point of it though, like to explore these different facets. And you can only do that by like digging into the different ways that they could go.
Yeah, I feel like he approached it in a really good way to like where it didn't feel too repetitive. Like maybe the first time he goes back, it is like pretty repetitive, but then like he brings in different elements. After that like it makes it fresh and like exciting.
Yeah, we would see different things because of his different decisions.
Yeah.
And then we had their markers of like the parents' anniversary and like the prom night and stuff.
Yeah, and I think like the 3 main time loops were the longest ones. The first 3 were like the longest ones. So I didn't feel like we really had much time for it to get repetitive because there was the first initial one where it wasn't a loop. And then the second one, he was kind of more focused on Kate. And then in the third one, he was more focused on his friends, a little bit more focused on his friends.
Right.
Yeah. The 4th loop was when I was like, oh God. I was like, okay, yeah, things happen in 3s. And then the 4th time it happened, I was like, shit. But then that's when he like went with Jillian and Franny got shot, and it was just like horrifying.
Everything was bad.
It was the darkest time.
Everything sucks.
And that was the title of one of the chapters. It was like the worst thing ever.
I like the title the chapter.
Yeah,
title.
They were really fun.
More YA books should do stuff like this.
Yes.
Because it's really creative and fun and sets a nice tone.
Let me try to see some of them. Anyway, what are some of your books that what are some of your favorite books that have time travel as like an element within them? Can we say one of them?
Is it a spoiler?
It's a spoiler, I feel like.
It's not.
Oh, so you admit it that it's not a spoiler? Is that what you're saying?
It's not anymore.
Okay, Again But Better by Christine Riccio.
What?
I think that's a really good like comparison to this
Yeah.
book because it has like the sense of time travel is like the only bit of like magic and like supernatural non-contemporary bit. So it's like mostly a contemporary book, but it has just that little touch, and I really like that.
Yes.
I'm glad. I like it too.
I'm also going to recommend Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Rain.
Wow.
More
Time loop.
They have a really cool system in that too. The loops and the different. You go back to different days.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Then there's Passenger, which has a magic system.
There's really a good one as well.
Oh, I want to mention The Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, yeah.
I read that.
Movie, but it has like a really interesting time travel effect, which was really cool.
I can't remember. He can't control it, right? He just kind of like travels.
Just travels for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that I remember that really like scaring me in terms of the romance. So he would just like disappear, but she had like a journal of like all his stuff, so she would see.
Every time he visited her,
Yeah. It was really sad, but not as sad as the movie, which was so depressing, and I was so disappointed because the book had happy parts.
Well, even the movie was like a Disney-fied version of it because the book had more happy parts, but also more like angsty parts and more like literary parts.
Yeah, the movie was just like, it was everything mellow, and I was just so disappointed in it because it didn't show like the highs and lows of that story, so you didn't really feel any of the impact.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Don't watch it. Read the book if you're going to do anything with other life.
Okay.
Trying to think. I mean, like, as far as contemporaries go, there's not that many that I've specifically read. There's more fantasy stuff.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about his friends Franny and Jillian?
I love Franny. I thought, I feel like I really knew his character, and he was so sweet, and it was so upsetting to see him so betrayed. When he just like kissed Jillian, I was like, how could you, after like going through all of this with Franny? Like, how could you not be there for that dinner after all of this?
I know, it's frustrating.
That was one of the most frustrating points because it wasn't even just like he confessed his feelings and to like see where it went. Like it's just right behind Franny's back, and it was just frustrating.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so different because he's best friends with Franny. Like, it's not like it's this girl that he doesn't know who she's with. It's like, it's your best friend that you've been like literally trying to help throughout this whole time. 3 different groups.
Yeah.
More than that, because there's a lot of loops.
I will say, I feel like I wish we would have gotten a little bit more information on Jillian. A little bit. Kind of like flesh out her character a little bit more.
It was she was the one that I had trouble kind of liking because like I could sympathize more with Jack's sort of unrequited feelings. He liked her before she started dating his best friend. And like he wasn't acting on them. Like he was like, my best friend is a great guy. Like he's happy for them. Yeah. But the fact that like Jillian was in a relationship with Franny, and Franny's such a good guy, and then she still was like, I always thought we would end up together, Jack. And it's like, then what are you doing with Franny? Like, why are you with him if you think that you're going to eventually end up with Jack? It just made you not like her that much.
Yeah, I think that's also something that bothered me because in the beginning you do get the sense like that first time around, she's jealous.
Yeah.
And you know that she likes him in that moment, and like it's like, why are you with his best friend then? That's so awkward. And Yeah, and I think that sets us up to not like her as much, even though she like is likable in all the other scenes. And we don't really get to like explore her relationship with her mom as much, and her mom's kind of going through something. Trouble.
At least not as much as we did with like Franny's situation.
Yeah, and like we know that's kind of why she's been like more moody than than she would usually be.
Yeah.
I like that we dug into that a little bit, like how it's not really about him, it's more about what's going on. You just don't know. Yeah. That's like a lot of things when people are moody in high school. It's like there's a lot of other stuff going on in their life. If you just, it's not particularly that they're mad at you.
Yeah. How did you feel about the presence of Jack's parents in the book?
I loved it.
More like there than most YA. Like most YA books we read, like the parents are disappeared, like they're gone. But it was nice to like have their presence throughout this book, and I feel like they had like a really good relationship with Jack as well, which was nice to see.
Yeah, I love their relationship in general, and you can tell like they have a really great relationship, and Jack is such a romantic because of their relationship.
Yeah. They're like so open about their feelings for each other, like in front of him and stuff.
Yeah, I see in the grocery store.
The only thing that gave me a little bit of pause was that if they were having their 30th wedding anniversary, how old are they?
I think they got together in high school.
They must have gotten together like really young. Yeah, I was like, even if they got together super young, like at age 18, they were together for like 12 years before they even had Jack.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
I think they made a reference to like being careful because they weren't careful and they had him really early.
No, but they've been married for 30 years and he's only 18. So that means they were married for 12 years before they had him.
Yeah. I mean, but like they were still young, right? Like
they would have been at least 30.
Yeah. How old are they? Yeah, they said they were older, didn't they? Yeah. He said his parents, I think in the beginning I remember him saying that his parents are a little older.
I mean, they had to have been to be married.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Because like they had such a great relationship, I was like, oh wow, they're really like high school sweethearts. Because it does sound like they were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
I assumed, but you're right. I missed that 30-year math thing.
Wait. Sorry, I saw a comment that I was trying to.
Do you think they get into a loop together after Jack dies and then try to save him? Maybe.
Maybe. We'll never know, though.
I think they would get into a loop if they died after Jack died. Like, I think you have to die to be in your loop.
Yeah. Interesting. How did you feel about the relationship between Jack and Kate? We kind of already touched on that a little bit, but do you have any additional thoughts on their relationship?
At the end where they were talking about their ship names, I was like, you guys, your ship names are like canon for Lost. It's Jake. That's what it is.
I just loved their banter. Like they had, it was just so fun to read, and just their dialogue with each other was great. Right from the very beginning, like I loved how they were joking with each other. It was just really cute. I really liked them.
Yeah, I like their first night together on the steps. A lot. Now it's like blurring because there were so many.
I know. What did you think about the relationship between Francisco, and his father, Franny and his father?
I think it was really sad.
Yeah.
That they were like, they both, I mean, his dad acts like he wants to be a part of his life, but then doesn't show up. And it's the cycle.
You have to show up if you want to be a part of.
Yeah. And it's like this cycle that has numbed Franny to like trusting him at all. Like whenever he says he's going to be there, he's like, yeah, no, you're not. And like that dinner where it felt like things were going to be better because he like gave him a hug when he came in, and then like Franny was less receptive at that dinner than he was at any of the other dinners because it felt like such a show.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed the exploration of it because like although it was angsty, it had like a really interesting complexity because like they both want the relationship to work, but they're both kind of reading it into the other's like perception of the relationship differently. Like Franny thinks like, oh, my dad doesn't want me, and the dad thinks like, I'm such a failure, like I don't want to like ruin his life further by being a part of it. So it's just like an interesting and sad dynamic, but I liked how it started to mend over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cereal. I love the part when they throw all the cereals into all the dorm rooms. That was so fun.
That was a fun game.
Cereal Santa. And I love how like that. I think that's the second loop, and that night starts off where she's like, "Are you a serial killer?" before they go anywhere, and he's like, "Not yet." Work up to that.
I just liked all the little jokes with each other. Like it felt like not just even with Jack and Kate, but with the whole friend group. Like it felt like such a real friendship thing. They had all their little like in jokes and situations and stuff. But like the whole like I'm the captain to your crunch, or the crunch to your the eternal crunch.
Captain to your crunch, yeah. How come people are getting their Taylor Swift CDs? Sorry, I don't have mine. Sorry, I got completely.
What book or what folklore song would you say goes along with this book? Speaking of Taylor Swift, since I ran out of questions, if you guys have questions for us, leave them in the chat and we will get to them. Also, let us know what folklore song you think goes along with Opposite of Always.
It's the one.
The one. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That fits it pretty perfectly, I would say.
It's so sad.
Would Cardigan work as well?
Cardigan would might work as well. Those are the two that I also like. Those could work for Again But Better.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Maybe peace as well. The whole idea of like, as long as you're with me, you'll never have peace.
Yeah, from her point of view.
Yeah.
But she's kind of pushing him away the whole time, not being like, stay with me. Also,
Yeah.
that scene where her dad was like, break up with her now. And I was like, you don't.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that so much.
I love her.
Jess asks, what's your favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal is Honey Bunches of Oats.
Boring. I love Fruity Pebbles. That's my favorite.
Fruity Pebbles are gross.
So good. I want some right now. Kitten, what about you?
I say it's boring.
Is it oatmeal? Because that doesn't count.
I mean, oatmeal would probably be my answer because I don't eat a lot of dry cereal.
Yeah, I mean, like that would be my answer too. But like that doesn't count. Pick a different cereal that you put milk in, and that doesn't go in the microwave or on the stove.
I usually get Frosted Cheerios.
That's not boring.
I think it's boring.
I like apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Oh, those are good too.
Not seeing any more questions about Opposite of Always. You guys have
thoroughly discussed it. It's harder to discuss with him.
We have covered like a lot of the book already. So, how do you guys feel this would work as a movie? Because the rights have been picked up for this book. So how do you?
I mean, it would. Have you guys seen the Lauren Oliver book?
Yeah, Before I Fall.
It would be kind of like that. It works pretty well.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh. I remember renting it on the computer.
Oh.
I don't think we saw it like in theaters, but I definitely rented it. And I had no idea what that was going to be. Loading? Am I going in and out?
Yeah.
You are.
What the hell's going on?
I'm not sure.
Is it fine now?
You're fine now, yeah, I think. Sierra asks, what do you guys think happened in some of the other non-documented loops? Any theories. of what happened.
Different pieces of this loop like over again.
Say what?
I think different pieces of these loops happened.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think there was anything like huge and like revolutionary that happened that we didn't see, because like Jack says that like this is kind of a combination of an amalgamation of like everything, like all the important parts of the loops.
Yeah.
But it's nice to imagine that, you know, they get to go to many proms together and like have many first conversations and like many cereals shared together.
Yeah. Remember when he gets hit by the car? And he's like dying trying to get to her. Like, gosh.
This person asks, when Jack injects Kate, does he kill her? Oh no.
Maybe?
I think she dies every time on that day.
Yeah. I think that it was kind of like a last shot, like if he didn't inject her, she was still gonna die anyways.
Yeah, It was like a Hail Mary.
Yeah. And I feel like that happened, I mean, I know that happened more than once, because the opening scene is different than the one where we see him inject her later on. So like he injects her more than once. There are different occasions. Who knows if it works one time or not, if there's second time and forever.
Okay, one last question. We'll do this one. What did you guys think of the ending? How did you feel of it? Like the way it came to a close?
I liked.
Nice.
I think there's a certain amount of ambiguity to it that provides for theorizing and discussion.
Right.
But I liked how it didn't have like a hard ending. There was no like, they break the time loop and live happily ever after, and that's the end of that, and they never mentioned it again. Like, we didn't have that. I like that we can kind of imagine them going on. Like, there's a sort of immortality to it in that, like, they can keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're, like, when you write a book like this, it's hard to decide how to end it, because, like, that ambiguity, I feel like at some ages you don't want that. Like when you're in like a teenager, I feel like you want the hard end. You want to know. But like I feel like as you get older, you're more and more okay with this ambiguous ending. Like you learn to be like you just like grow more patient with the idea that you don't know.
You don't always get the answers in life.
Yeah. And like I like the ambiguity of having to theorize, but I could also see like I could understand wanting to see like them break the time loop. Like there's a satisfaction in that you get like, oh, they did it finally, because you have to live with the idea that they never broke out of it.
Right. That's why fan fiction exists. You can write your own ending, guys. Have at it. All right, well, that's it for our live show for Opposite of Always. Thank you to everybody who picked up this book and read it with us this month. Next month, we are reading WARCROSS, and our live show is going to be on September 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. And our Dear Booksplosion live show is going to be happening on Wednesday this week on the 12th. So join us for that. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be talking about book-to-movie adaptations, and we're really excited about it. And that's it for this show. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Jesse.
I'm Christine.
I'm Kat.
We're Booksplosion. Bye. Bye. Bye.